Welcome to another video yet again. So I do have this special penny stock that has catalyst upon catalyst, multiple catalysts sitting near the all-time low or the 52-week low, and they just announced record sales. And just recently, I believe in the beginning of this year in January, they did partner with Monash University, which is one of the top global institutions. Drop a quick like for me on this video if you are enjoying this content. I have nothing at all to sell you, and these alerts are 100% free, but you can see the dilution risk is looking pretty low. No toxic warrants or convertible notes to worry about. And something really special about this company is they have no long-term debt and very minimal liabilities compared to their total assets. I believe they have around $2 million in total liabilities compared to over $10 million in total assets, $5 million cash in the bank. And like I said, guys, just a very clean balance sheet, especially for a biotech company. I'm going to tell you right now that this is probably one of the rarest biotech companies in the entire penny stock market that also has major government and military connections and has received multi-million-dollar grants. And something to realize about these biotech plays, whenever we do get a really nice catalyst, sometimes these stocks can yield life-changing returns. I've seen some of these go up 1,000% or just multiple 100% runs. And you can see, I've done some research, and I haven't really seen that this company has done a reverse stock split from what I could find. So that means they haven't really diluted any shares since 2020, according to Dilution Tracker, as long as they haven't done any reverse stock splits to skew this data. So this is a company that, a very rare pharmaceutical play and a brand new fresh play for this channel. So make sure you watch until the very end as well. Before I get into this fresh play for this channel, I want to go over, briefly go over ticker NLSP. Now, if you've been following me for a while, you've been keeping up with me, this is a stock I am currently swing trading, but you can see the short interest increased from 20% yesterday all the way to 35%. So this one is heavily shorted, as we are expecting, clinical data to come out very soon and a finalized merger catalyst to come out any day now. So multiple catalysts inbound, and currently this one is trading around 185, 180, something like that. But something else I noticed is the cost to borrow rate has increased from 100%. It says 80 down here, but it actually went up to around 140 if you look on the overall short interest data according to Ortex. Cost to borrow right here is showing it is at almost 200%. So I'm imagining average cost to borrow is well over 100% by now. Utilization's at 57%. A short squeeze score is getting up there, is sitting at 85 out of 100. And keep in mind, guys, we have a major, massive catalyst underway, multiple of these. So I really like NLSP. I haven't sold any. I'm still holding this one. I'm holding for the catalyst, and that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm trying to burn these shorts. I'm not here to scalp or anything like that. Also, guys, I want to tell you something that you should do if you are buying these stocks. So what I do myself is I buy, I slowly scale into my position, because, all these plays, most of these plays are swing trades on this channel. Unless they go absolutely parabolic, then it's a smart idea to, secure profits. But what I like to do, I buy a starter position, I slowly scale into it. So don't buy your full size all at once. That way, if it does come down and it dips, you can get in for a better average or a lower price, and it lowers your average price per share. So don't just jump in here and buy this, buy these stocks all at once if you are going to buy them anyways after you do research, because there are shorts that are going to manipulate this down. But, ultimately a lot of these do have a ton of potential to have a giant parabolic rally and explosive type run. So just remember that. The stock I'm talking about in this video is IMRN Ltd, which is currently trading around $1.60. But I do want to show you guys something really quick. They do have real revenue coming in, which is pretty rare for a small cap biotech penny stock. Okay, so in 2021, not only do they have revenue coming in, their revenue growth is increasing very rapidly every single year. So in 2021, they only did $100,000, and this almost 5x or 5x in 2022, the next year, to $500,000 plus. And then it almost, more than doubled the next year. And then for 2024, it more than doubled, almost tripled. So something else that just came out 1 month ago is IMRN Traveland has their highest sales in history. This is one of their products, one of their most successful products. So this just came out 1 month ago. So it's just showing that they are, they're not slowing down at all. They're only just getting started. And we do have multiple catalysts we have to talk about. One of these is supposed to come out any time now. And we have multiple catalysts coming out later in the year. So IMRN, a pretty clean play. Just going at their, looking at their balance sheet, you can see at the end of the year, they had almost $8 million cash in the bank. Now, this is probably sitting closer to, I would say, around $5 million as of right now, but they do have $10.4 million in total assets compared to less than $2 million in total liabilities. Again, guys, for a pharmaceutical play, this is extremely rare. Keep in mind, you always add 3 zeros to these numbers. One of their flagship products, probably their best product they have. Now, they do have 2 commercially viable products. Now, one of these is called Traveland, which is an anti-diarrhea pill that is gaining traction worldwide. You can see just looking on their website. This is an Australian-based company that develops Traveland, but it is also sold throughout the United States and Canada, and does have some major military trials ongoing, or have had some military trials with the U.S. Army, Department of Defense, and much more, just for this anti-diarrhea pill. So, like I said, on Amazon, you can see a 4.6 star rating out of 1,000, or just around 1,000 ratings. This is, like I said, guys, they just had their largest or highest Traveland sales in history. Though it looks like their flagship product is making a historic breakthrough. And I want to show you guys something very important. So looking on their latest investor presentation, you can see that they did anticipate releasing top line results from this collaborative study with Traveland on, in April of 2025, and this hasn't came out yet, so it is expected. These results are expected to come out any day now. So this alone is a major short-term catalyst. So you can see Traveland, like I've already previously mentioned, continues to show very strong sales growth, which again, Traveland is one of their flagship products. It looks like in Australia, Q1 2025 is up 3% compared to the previous quarter. It says they secured core ranging and another 9 pharmacy banner groups. And in North America, this is pretty massive. For Q1 2025, their sales are up almost 50% compared to the previous quarter. They just had their strongest monthly sales on Amazon.com, and also secured distribution in 10 pharmacy and grocery retailers in Canada. So making tremendous progress with their Traveland sales. So you can see for the first half of 2025, we do have 3 different catalysts at least. And then in the second half of 2025, there is another catalyst. So this is a company that's bottomed out, has multiple catalysts as they are achieving peak sales performance with Traveland. So definitely this is one that caught my eye, and one that I think has a tremendous amount of potential. But you can see that this tiny microscopic penny stock was awarded a $6.2 million, or was awarded over $6 million to clinically evaluate a military strength dosing regimen for Traveland. So you can see, this was in the past, but they were pursuing a regulatory pathway to license Traveland with the FDA, the Food and Drug Administration, via a biologics license application. The proposed indication is to reduce the risk of contracting travelers' diarrhea, which apparently is, a very large problem when people are traveling to certain countries, or just traveling in general. So this is caused by bacterial pathogens that basically just disrupt the digestive system. So according to the CDC, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, an estimated 10 million international travelers develop travelers' diarrhea every single year. So this is a much needed problem that, IMRN is completely here to fix. So this was a few years ago, but it's just showing you how powerful this product is. So back in January of 2022, the company announced that it was awarded $3.3 million, in terms of, the US currency, not Australian dollars. This was awarded by MTech for the development of Travalan dosing regimen acceptable for use by the United States military. They go on to say that the U.S. Naval Medical Research Command, the NMRC, was also awarded, 1 million US dollars in a separate grant to provide immunological support for the IMRN clinical program. It also says a few years ago that the company announced the funding of a new research agreement with the U.S. Department of Defense. So this, like I said, this penny stock has major U.S. military, Department of Defense, and other government related connections, as well as major Australian government connections as well. So on dilution tracker, you can see the float is sitting at 4 million shares. So a pretty small float with volume. This one can see some pretty explosive moves. Overhead supply is low, so no toxic warrants or convertible notes to worry about. And looking at this, they haven't really diluted, very minimal dilution since 2020 in the last few years. The company has 7.7 months of cash left based on a quarterly cash burn rate of $2 million and estimated current cash of $5 million, according to Dilution Tracker. These warrants right here would not even be exercisable at this current stock price, and these have expired. So no warrants, no convertible notes. So, pretty low dilution risk for this company, and they do have cash at least to last them into 2026 or the start of 2026, and maybe a little further than that. But it just depends on the other grants they get, and they do get actually some tax incentive grants that help them out. So we'll have to see how those play out. Looking on the daily chart, you can see IMRN is trading at $1.61, and we are sitting on a double bottom setup. If you actually zoom out on the weekly time frame, you can see this is also a major demand and support level, and every time we hit this level, it always does see a bounce. Historically, this is, like I said, a major support area. Even if you go on the monthly, you can see this is a triple bottom setup. Just actually has hit this level multiple times and has range on this chart. Now we do have the 50-day moving average up here and the 200 up here, but there are pending catalysts, and something really rare about this company is they have never conducted a reverse stock split. So it means they've been able to hold their ground without diluting and increase shareholder value every time it dips to this $1 area. So this is actually trading near the 52-week low and actually near the all-time low. I believe the all-time low is around 139. So, chart looks good, looks bottomed out, has catalyst. I really do like this one. Also, guys, make sure you keep a close eye on ticker NLSP. I'm also swing trading this one, and we have major catalysts coming out any day now with very high short interest. So that's a prime setup for a short squeeze with NLS Pharmaceutics. And that's really all I have for today's video. This video is getting way too long, so I'm going to cut it off there. If you did make it this far in the video, I really do appreciate you for sticking around all the way until the end. Let me know in the comments what you think about these plays and any other plays you're watching, and I will see you on the next video.